good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Of course, depending once again on where you hear my voice from. I'm always super happy, to interact with fellow freedom lovers, Biafrans and people of goodwill. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing great. Yes, the weather in Nigeria is constantly, evolving. Today there's rain, another time there's breeze, another time there's heat, and as if the sun and the rain are competing. Of course, it seems like the atmospheric pressure is continuously and constantly, in a state of flux. Things are changing. Things are very almost unpredictable. This time is sunny. The sun is assuming very, immense proportions. And all of a sudden, without any, no telling signs, the rains begin to pour with a devastating breeze. Incidentally, a lot of houses, have lost their roofs because of course, what you may call the May rains. It's more like what is happening in the zoo, of course. You see how it is. Every other day, there's a whole lot of, things happening. Of course, there's always a news in the zoo. Every other day, you hear about one attack or the other. If they have not killed military men who are, you know, on a mission to deal with, insurgents, if they have not killed them, of course, because of, internal exposure. Yes, internal exposure. Because, of course, what happened recently was a military base, was attacked, all the guns taken, several military men were high ranking military men were killed, vehicles taken, uh, new motorcycles taken. This was somewhere in Borno State. All of course because yes, you catch a Boko Haram man, you catch you capture a Fulani jihadist, and the next thing is, they take them into rehabilitation. The next thing they tell you they have confessed and they have, retracted. They have shown remorse. I think we should forgive them. They are granted amnesty, given some monies, and then once again, they are, they are given employment in the military. How can you set a thief to catch a thief? How can you set an insurgent? Yes, an insurgent to catch an insurgent. It's only in the zoo that this can happen. You catch a Boko Haram, you free a Boko Haram, you said he has shown remorse, yeah, you forgiven him, you pay him money, and the next thing, you give him a job in the military. And you expect him to go and catch Boko Haram people, you expect him to go and catch the Fulani jihadist again. It's really, very perplexing what is happening in the zoo. I mean, how can you catch an insurgent? You release an insurgent and you tell him go and catch an insurgent again. Of course, he's loyal, perpetually loyal, to wherever it is you caught him from. It's just unfortunate, and I think Nigeria is not being realistic. Let's call a spade a spade. They are not being realistic. You don't set a thief to catch a thief. You don't do that. That's only in the cartoons we see such things. It's only in the stories by tales by moonlight. Yes, it's in the tales by moonlight stories that we hear this kind of, rigmarole, this kind of, happenings. It's still by moonlight stories, ladies and gentlemen. You know, so unfortunately, that's the story we get every day. Today, this school is attacked. Tomorrow, that farmland is attacked. Tomorrow, that community is attacked. And of course, there are killings, there are maimings, there are destruction of life and property, and people are kidnapped. And you begin to wonder, this happens in the full glare of the military. This happens in the full glare of the public. I mean, security operatives are everywhere, and it keeps happening. It's not just in the north, it has extended down to the southwest. it has gone to the south, east. Yeah, because recently, you know, we heard again that some farmlands were attacked at Ebonyi State. They start, people were, women were carted away. Women who were going for a wedding ceremony were carted away, and taken, of course, into oblivion, into unknown places. And as usual, the amiable governor, who never expected himself to be a governor, came out and said investigations are ongoing. We are still trying to find out what is amiss. I don't know. It happened in Enugu State. It happened in Anambra State. People are killed by Fulani jihadist men who claim to be, herdsmen. Herdsmen who carry for AK-47 weapons. Herdsmen who carry, bomb, bomb, bomb manufacturing facilities. Herdsmen who have all kinds of weaponry at their disposal. And they say they are carrying cattle. It's really a sad one. The Southeast is really in trouble. The zoo, the zoo has really descended to an all-time low. But ladies and gentlemen, let that not dampen your spirits. This is the month of May. May has a lot of things to do with us. Because of course we've been told that 30th of May, willy-nilly, whether the zoo like it or not, the IPOB has declared that they are going to mark, the Biafra Remembrance Day, 30th of May. 2025. So, ladies and gentlemen, brace up that day, come out en masse. Let's have dialogues, let's have, meetings. Even the diaspora, we've told them, organize yourselves, let there be rallies, let there be symposium, talk about Biafra, talk about the redeclared United States of Biafra. Because when you continue to talk about Biafra, when you continue to announce the programs of Biafra, when you begin to let the world know that yes, Biafra is real and remains real in our spirits, in our minds, in our daily life, then of course that is when people will take you seriously. If you don't praise your mommy's soup, if you don't say your mommy cooks well, whose mother will you praise? If your mommy's soup is not the best, then whose mother makes the best soup? So I want to encourage every Biafran, no matter where you are, within the zoo, outside the zoo, in Biafra land, the diaspora, anywhere you are. Ladies and gentlemen, talk Biafra, think Biafra, drink Biafra, and please sleep Biafra. We should be real. We should be proud of what we have because for the first time in many years, yes, Biafra has gained momentum. Issues around Biafra has gained momentum. People are talking about it. A lot of people are worried. And when is the best time to talk about Biafra? It's even this time that our maximum leader, is undergoing trial in the hands of the federal government, the zoo government. Yes, under the auspices, the umpireship, under the judgeship of James, Federal High Court Judge James Omotosho. So, ladies and gentlemen, brace up. These are very important times. The month of May promises to be a very good time to talk Biafra, to be a very good time to remind the world about Biafra. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell your acolytes, tell your allies. This is the month of Biafra because I know great things are happening, promises to be happening in the lives of Biafrans. Yes, that's how it is. We should be proud. For the first time, Biafra is almost in the news every day. Every other day now, they're talking about the trial of Nnamdi Kanu. Every other day, they're talking about, the investigation surrounding our own able Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know, Alexander Stubb, the Finnish president, the Finnish president recently went to Kenya. You know what he's going to do? He wants to find out more information about the rendition of Nnamdi Kanu. In case you didn't hear that, he wants to find out what are the modus operandi, what were the modus, what was the likelihood, what was the federal government, the zoo government's intentions, activities surrounding the rendition of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Because the Finnish authorities were shocked. They were highly flabbergasted that the government in Africa, the government touted, to be one of the least concerned about, human rights, of its people, could go all the way against against international practices, against the rule of law, against internationally recognized code of conduct. They could go all the way to Kenya and kidnap, because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has corrected the press. He said, I wasn't, when you people talk of rendition, I was literally kidnapped from Kenya, bundled down to Nigeria, against my fundamental human rights, against international practices, against United Nations, proscribed practices, against the laws of Kenya, against the laws of the British passport that I carry. I was kidnapped to Nigeria. So Alexander Stubb has gone there. He wants to know the extent. Why did Nigeria government go to this extent? Why did the zoo government, act so bestially? I mean, that was more like a beast. That was more like a beast. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot is happening in May. Yes, back to back. Biafra is in the news, even in the zoo. Yes, the thing they are trying our Muslim leader. Every other day we are hearing the Yoruba press tell us all they like. They begin to sing song. They tell a whole lot of stories, trying to make things look like, Nnamdi Kanu is a traitor, Nnamdi Kanu is an insurgent, he is a felon, and he is a terrorist. Every other day they are giving us their own version. Every other day, back to back, they give us their video version, they give us their audio version. Of course, like we said, presented by marksmen who claim they are DSS, operationals. Yes, marksmen, gangster marksmen, who did, men who come to give testimonies against, highly respectable gentlemen. Somebody like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, a man who cannot hurt a fly, is today being projected. Today, the propaganda everywhere is that he is guilty as charged, because of course they talk of videos, they talk of audios where they claim so many things, even including claiming that he killed one time senior military personnel. I'm a Golak because of his audio, because he insisted, sit at home. IPOB insisted, sit at home. And the gentleman came out, the soldier came out, and he became victimized. These are all arrant nonsense. But ladies and gentlemen, my talk for this morning is not about these sad developments. It's not about this, brouhaha by the Nigerian government. It's not about this charade. It's not about orchestrated media, Yoruba media, who are trying at all points, even at all cost, to nail down Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you're not aware, these are troubling times. But of course, as far as Biafra is concerned, nothing troubles us. Everything worketh for good for them that serve Yahweh. We believe we are anointed generation. We believe we are an anointed group, because every time they have planned evil, every time they have planned against us, yes, they come in one direction. When they come from one way. But when Yahweh comes to our midst, of course, they run in 7 different ways. Every time the zoo government plans whatever it plans, whatever negativity, whatever vendetta it thinks it can achieve against Biafra, against the southeast, they often run away. They run away from 7 different directions. Yes, that is what is happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, the topic of this, today's audio is the trial or mistrial of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. The trial or mistrial of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. I think I've already hit the nail on the head. I think I've already broached the topic when I told you that the Zoo media, the Yoruba media, the same all in recent times, since this retrial, or mistrial of our maximum leader, Nnamdi Kanu, they seem to be interested in any way possible, anyhow they can, to nail him, nail the coffin against Nnamdi Kanu. And it shocks them. It shocks them that all these attempts, everything they have tried, including bringing hooded witnesses, people who have hidden their identities, people who have changed their voice patterns, people who claim what they are not. People who come and all they bring in exhibits are suitcases filled with boxers, toothbrushes, hairbrushes, dyes, Jewish caps, personal belongings, suitcases that they claim have laptops, suitcases that they claim have recording devices, and other things which they claim our maximum leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, uses for his radio Biafra. There's nothing they have not said, even trying to tarnish his image, trying to break his lovely marriage. I mean, when they said they caught him with a woman, of course, the intention was, when he was caught with a woman in a hotel room, you know how it is. They thought the wife would say, "No way, I hate my husband. How could you have betrayed me?" But of course, they are shocked because, like we say, we are not ignorant. We are not ignorant of the devices of the enemy. The wife knew that all this brouhaha, all this make believe, all this, shenanigans, all this, talk and talk are all leading to nowhere. Of course, the Yoruba media, of course, the Zoo media, their attempt is to nail Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, nail him, and pronounce him guilty as charged. But thanks be to God, every Biafran has it in his DNA, this ability to look at things beyond what they seem. They look at things in a broader perspective, look at things beyond what is presented. And so when they said he was caught with a woman, the wife looked and said, "I know my husband. I know Anyendo. I know Mazi, my own Nnamdi Kanu. I know he doesn't joke with his marriage. I know he's a Jewish, religionist. I know he holds my marriage sacrosanct." And so they failed. We caught him with a woman, they failed. The next thing, they begin to bring all kinds of audio, all kinds of video, where they brought in voices that they have tried to replicate. They have cloned voices, trying to parade our own Onion Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, saying all kinds of trashes, things that they thought when Nigerians hear it, when the world hears it, of course everybody will lose, their interest in the matter. Of course, everybody will say, "This man is guilty as charged." Of course, international communities will say, "Oh my God, was he saying all this?" But again, they failed. They failed because the world has known the tactics, the antics of the zoo. The world has known that there's nothing they're incapable of doing. The world has seen that the zoo can go to any extent. If they can go and bribe, of course, try to corrupt European foreign ministers, all because they needed, to arrest Simon EKPA. If they could have gone to every extent, even almost, if not, trying to bribe, to corrupt Alexander Stubb, the Finnish president, trying to let him know that there are a lot of abundant mineral resources, untapped mineral resources in Nigeria, that he is free, Finland is free to come and tap uncheckered, mineral resources. Let him know that, of course, we have abundant oil resources. You are free, come and take as much, pull as much oil as you can. We have gas flares everywhere. Come and move your gas. Come into Nigeria and make so much money. But all we ask is give us Simon EKPA. I mean, the whole world knows that Emilio Con, even the man who said it is my turn, who took an election, who went through an election, took a result that he never won. Election that was, that was held and won by someone else. But of course, that the INEC started doing the abracadabra. And of course, they torpedoed all the results, shortchanged everything, and gave Nigerians the man who say, it is my turn, Emilio Khan. Of course, the international community is aware. When it comes to the zoo, they know that the zoo has descended to even less than a shithole. I mean, this is a country that was described as fantastically corrupt by none other than the former British Prime Minister. A country that was described by a prolific, Biafran writer, our own Chinua Achebe, as there was a country. A country in which, of course, the rule of law is thrown aside at any point in time. Because, of course, yes, the man in charge, the empire, the emperor, knows his empire is within his grasp. Anytime he wants to take a decision, he jettisons the rule of law. Of course, even the judiciary has been compromised. You cannot get the judiciary to do the right things anymore, to pronounce right judgments anymore, to say the right things anymore, give right rulings anymore. Because, of course, the judiciary has been compromised. And so there's nothing the international community has not seen. And so when they began to hear different audios, when they began to see videos, of Nnamdi Kanu saying all kinds of things that of course were irregular, that were totally not in sync with what he used to say before, they knew that the zoo had perfected its art. Yes, they wanted everybody to pronounce this man guilty as charged. But of course the zoo failed once again. Because every time they sent all this stuff, every time they match made these stuffs, every time they brought their abracadabra, every time they cloned Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's voice, every time they manipulated videos using AI, to create this and create that. Of course, the whole world saw through it. And of course, remember once again that we have a formidable legal team. I mean, a legal team that is led by none other than Chief Kanu Agabi, 2 times Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Yes, when the zoo was still a country. Yes, Chief Kanu Agabi, 2-time Attorney General and Minister of Justice of this country, before it became there was a country, before it became a shithole, before it became fantastically corrupt. This man is ahead. He's in charge of the team. And of course, he has promised us, I will never let Mazen Nnamdi Kanu down. He's a young man, he's younger to me, but I swear with my life, as someone with a Biafran instruction, as someone from Biafran instruction, I will fight till my blood ceases to flow. And so every time they brought this abracadabra, every time they brought these audios with masked men, with gangsters in the court, we were in a gangster's paradise. Kanu Agabi, chief, always has a way of vitiating, seeing through, cutting through the maze, and sifting the wheat from the shaft. Like what happened yesterday in the court. Of course, there was the so-called second max witness was cross-examined. And of course, it was discovered that everything he was saying, or everything he has been trained to say, or everything he was told to say did not add up. Of course, when you lie too much, of course, when you think you've gotten it right, of course, when you try to frame somebody, at one point, you begin to find out that it just doesn't add up. And so his stories fell. Of course, his audios fell. Of course, his answers didn't add up. And it was very clear, glaring to Justice James Omotosho that this marksman, this second witness, the man they call PWBBB, prosecutor witness BBB, AKBBB, that the man was a pathological liar. Yes, no truth was in his mouth. And everything he was saying about Nnamdi Kanu, everything he was saying about the IPOB was completely false. Totally, untrue. Even James Omotosho, the judge, was shocked at the extent that these people could lie. Yes, he said Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's IPOB told people to sit at home. Yes, at that point in time, on the 30th of May, of course, this annual sit at home, which they have promised again, they've declared for 30th of May this year. He said, yes, Nnamdi Kanu told you people, he made an audio, he said, sit at home. Remember, they are fallen heroes. Sit at home, nobody should move. And Ahmed Gulag, of course, one time aide, special aide, senior assistant aide, to President Jonathan. He fell at Owerri. Unfortunately, they said he died at Owerri, and they brought up a certificate to show that he was killed on the 30th of May, the same day IPOB declared a sit at home. Ladies and gentlemen, it will shock you that IPOB has come out to say, listen, we did not observe that sit at home on the 30th. It was actually on the 31st of May. You see, that claim, that death certificate, that they thought they could use, to win sympathy, to win empathy, yes, to be cloud, befuddle, deceive Nigerians, to create sentiment. It has fallen like a pack of cards because, of course, IPOB has shown it, gone back to their audio, and it has been proven that the so-called sit at home was on the 31st of May, not 30th, when the so-called Gulag, Ahmed Gulag, died in the hands of, unknown gunmen, whatever it was, at Owerri, Imo State. And so James Omotosho knows and is wondering, why do these people want Kanu at all costs? Why is the government spending so much money trying to get, fake witnesses? Yes, fake witnesses, to nail Nnamdi Kanu down. James Omotosho has been shocked beyond belief that a government could descend so low. Of course, Mr. Adeboyega Awomolo, the man who is in charge of the prosecution. Yes, I don't know why his name, Adeboyega Amolowo, almost sounds like Awolowo. But this man who is in charge of the prosecution told the, highly stunned, flabbergasted, and, worried Justice James Omotosho. He told them, sir, yes, you heard our 2 witnesses. We still have 5 witnesses more. And if you permit us, we would want to go straight to those 5 witnesses. But of course, our erudite, great legal luminary, our legal, general, Chief Kanu Agabi, sir, 2 times Attorney General and Minister of Justice, told James Omotosho, told the judge, gentlemen, yes, your lordship, please grant us more time. We want to really look into all this so-called mass witnesses I've been saying, and we want to, draw our parallel line. We want to show the whole world that these witnesses tell nothing but lies. What they're doing is a fabricated story. What they're doing is dancing to the gallery. They seem to have been given a mandate, and that mandate is pull Nnamdi Kanu down at all cost. And so the matter was moved, has been moved again to the 21st and the 22nd of May. So, ladies and gentlemen, this so-called trial or mistrial of Nnamdi Kanu, this so-called trial where they have predetermined, yes, to nail Nnamdi Kanu at all cost, to whatever it costs, will definitely fail. So, ladies and gentlemen, brace up. This so-called trial or mistrial is a complete mirage, is a complete, charade. Yes, it's nothing but a facade. They want to deceive the whole world. It's a facade. They want to deceive the whole world. But of course, like I told you, the 47th president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, watches and listens to every Nnamdi Kanu trial or mistrial. The European community are watching because, of course, they were highly irritated. Irritated by, the call from Nigeria for extradition of Simon Ekpa. They were wondering why a country would feel that it would, better met out, justice. It would better try a Finnish citizen who, was arrested in Finland and is being interrogated, and you are saying bring him down to Nigeria, bring him down to the zoo. The European Parliament was really highly, flabbergasted by this raucous demands. Yes, by Nigeria to have this man extradited, and they are wondering why. And they have discovered that yes, in Nigerian courts, in Nigerian judicial system, no rule of law is maintained. Of course, you are adjudged guilty until proven unguilty, not the other way around. When you're adjudged, not guilty until proven to be guilty. So, ladies and gentlemen, this mistrial of Nnamdi Kanu has, echoed around the world. And I'm telling you that international personalities are watching, watching with bated breath, watching with all eyes, with keen eyes, watching to see what the zoo is up to. And I assure you, at the end of the day, it will just be a rigmarole. It will be a dancing in the rain for the zoo. Because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has done no wrong. He was a freedom fighter who brought out, the plight of his people to the whole world. He told the world what happened between 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. He told the world how genocide was declared on his people. He told the world how after 1970, when of course they claimed the war had ended, the civil war had ended, his people were gifted with mere paltry 25 pounds, 20 pounds to go and die. He told the whole world that ever since then, even in 2025, his people are treated as a subjugated people, as a defeated people, as second-class citizens. And they said, why? He said, enough was enough. If you don't want my people to be, if you don't want them to belong, then let my people go. That's how he said it. That's what he said. And now they are twisting it. Yes. They're intertwining it, they are manipulating it, they're integrating it to look like he was a terrorist, to look like he was somebody who was interested in bloodletting. Of course, we know that's not the truth. That's the mistrial of our own Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, we know he's not going to get anywhere. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has a formidable legal team headed by two-time Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Chief Kanu Agabi. Of course, he has over a dozen sons. Of course, our lawyer Jimako is still there. And of course, the Biafrans, we the Biafrans are right behind him in our prayers, in our encouragement, in our motivations. And I assure you, at the end of the day, he's going to walk out free, unconditionally. Just a matter of time. Leave all the brouhaha. Leave all the so-called orchestrated dramas, tales by moonlight stories that are emanating from who dead, masked witnesses, gangsters paradise. That's what it is. That's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, like I told you in one of my audios, there's a grand plan, to create whip up sentiments, create a necessary dichotomy, and eventually ask the Biafrans, who do you want? We know at the end of the day, they are getting towards that stage where they will now tell you this man has done so much. Do you want us to release him and take Simon Ekpa, Or what do you want? Do you want Simon or do we go after this man? But of course, in Biafra land, we know no such choice. No such choice will be allowed because these are great, prominent Biafrans, people who have made sacrifices for Biafra. Yes, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu sacrificed his royalty, sacrificed, his well-being, sacrificed his family for Biafra. We cannot let him down. Simon Ekpa also sacrificed, his career in the military, sacrificed his well-being as a businessman in Finland, all to fight, for Biafra. Equally, that is what is happening now in our own veteran nurse, in the person of the Deputy Prime Minister, Ngozi Orebweze, who has sacrificed all things, including her family, including her, her career, and she's the Deputy Prime Minister of Biafra, holding sway until Simon Ekpa comes back, holding sway until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fully released. Ladies and gentlemen, we mustn't let them down. We must be with them at all times. Yes, this is our chance. The prognosis looks good. This is the best time for Biafra. Biafra is in the news. Every Biafra must come out and be counted. All hands must be on deck. We must fight for the full liberation of the United States of Biafra. That's how it is. That's where it's going to end. This is our chance. The month of May is very important. Remember the 30th of May. IPOBA said, come out. Come out. Let's show the whole world that Biafra is indeed a serious nation, a serious set of people who believe that yes, the time is right. Every nation, that was wrongly put together, like Lord Lugar did the amalgamation of the protectorate of the North and South in 1914. In 2014, it's 100 years. And according to UN, according to them, they said, let us watch it for 100 years. Let's see where it is. Of course, since 2014, it has proven to have failed. That amalgamation has become a total misfit. Failure. Colossal failure. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is right for Biafra. Month of May is our month. Don't mind who has been, however they try or mistry our own Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We know where we're headed. We know what is happening to us. We know, of course, all this trial and temptation shall soon go by, shall soon be a thing of the past. Yes, they are attacking Biafra from all corners. They are coming all the way with their full forces, using their masked men, using their fake, DSS people, using, betrayers. Yes, traitors from Biafra land, using our own people to lie against our leaders. Yes, they come in one direction, but when they flee, they will flee in 7 different directions. They will scamper for safety. The whole world is watching. We are proud of who we have, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We are proud of who we have in Simon Ekpa. We're proud of who we have, in the person of Dr. Ngozi Orebweze. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all. We are together in this and we keep praying. Thank you and goodbye.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Lugar, Bloomington, Lord Lugar, and it's Wild Flora Show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation. Ever since annihilation, nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.